Greetings, everyone. I am the one and only Maxi here, and I'm from the likes of the Maxi Toys videos, as you guys should probably already know me at this rate. And welcome to the next episode in terms of my video game collection video. I believe that previously that Kirby had managed to able to did done the Xbox 360 game collection video. And, well, if you probably see the actual, the shelf up there, so, that's how it goes, basically. And the next episode, in terms of my video game collection video, next up, we're gonna be going back onto the PlayStation kind of my video game collection video, sorry. And that will have to be by the forms of the first portable device for the PlayStation family of consoles, is the PlayStation Portable, or in short, PSP. So for this particular PSP did first exist back in 2004 in Japan, while a year later in everywhere else. Now as you can see, I've got the PlayStation Portable 3000 version because of the actual logo of the home button is different compared to different models, because I say that because normally it does have not one, not two, not three, not four, but five different versions of PSP. Like there was the 1000 version, which came out first, and the 2000 version came out afterwards, and then the 3000 version came out later. And then there's also the mobile kind of version of PSP, which is known as PSP Go. And there's also the final version of the PSP known as E1000, which is kind of does the same thing as, well, 3000, except, well, with less features and stuff like that. This particular handheld has been discontinued ever since in 2014. So, well, for North America it's January, Japanese is in June, and on our country, on the PAL version, in December 2014. This thing has been sold for about 80 or 82 million units sold. And the best selling game for the PSP is actually none other than Grand Theft Auto Liberty City Stories, which is pretty much just like the coolest thing ever because you can able to play on the go. And the uniquest thing about the PSP is the fact that, well, rather than just utilizing cartridges, unlike certain Nintendo systems and even some portable consoles included, instead, this is actually the first ever, and I possibly think this is the only handheld device managed to utilize the CD kind of disk drives, or to be more specifically known in this, is the UMD, stands for Universal Media Discs. And it's actually pretty cool and interesting to say the least, but we'll discuss onto the game selections until later once we get into the actual collection itself. And yeah, the disc tray is actually a lot different than the any other versions. Like normally, well, it doesn't matter which versions you'll be purchasing for. So yeah, it's actually pretty swell looking handheld, and it did try to compete against with the Nintendo DS back in the day, but obviously the Nintendo DS has been sold for quite wild, because obviously with the unique selling point on the DS is that it has two dual screens. So, well, dual screens I should say. But the uniquest thing about this system also is that, well, this might actually be the first ever handheld device, well, if you want to count the forms of Neo Geo Pocket Color, that it does have a little bit of a thumbstick right here, so you can able to utilize with 3D platforming and such, which is pretty unique. And yeah, there's honestly not much else you can say in terms of the history of the PlayStation Portable. So at least it's something is interesting to say the least for that part. So anyways, now that's out of the way, and now let's get on to the forms of the games themselves. This video won't be very long because if you couldn't tell, I haven't really collected that much of PSP stuff every once in a while, because obviously I'm more into the forms of well, just consoles rather than just handhelds themselves. But this is the only selections I do have at least. So let's get started with, as usual, the alphabetical order. So in this case, starting off with Burnout Dominator. Yes, much like the PlayStation 2 version, I pretty much got this for the exact same reason, except I can play this on the go. And oh no, I did really enjoy the PSP version as well, so even though there's not much else to tell about this, because it's the exact same game as the PS2 version, except you can now play this on the go. So yeah, I'm very glad to have this on the PSP. Speaking of more Burnout action, Burnout Legends. Now, this game is actually interesting because it's like it's been like a portable version of Burnout 3 Takedown with the exact same in-game engine and stuff like that. So, yeah, at least I'm very glad to have this though. Especially that I actually really enjoyed this back in 2015 whenever I first got it. Especially when I went into the Turkey holiday and oh man, I had a thrilling time with this game. Although I don't usually play this game nowadays, but even though for its time, is actually really, really good. But there's also this, this game also came out on the Nintendo DS, and if I were you, ignore the DS version just because there's worse visuals, clunky controls, and pretty much everything else in the DS version is crap. So, yeah, best to recommend the PSP version so you can play this on the go, if you like to, will be. Castlevania, the Dracula X Chronicles, which is actually a remake for the Japanese exclusive back on PC Engine, which is Castlevania the Rondo of Blood. And this particular remake, as far as I'm concerned, obviously contains a full-on remake of, Castlevania Rondo of Blood, and there's also the original counterparts of Rondo of Blood as well, including the Castlevania Symphony of the Night as well. So even then, at least I got that at least. And as you can see, this is the American version, as you can see, of Castlevania, the Dracula X Chronicles and stuff like that, which, thankfully, this actually runs very well on my PSP, because thankfully it's region free, so I'm very pleased to have this. So, well, I did manage to have this on digital, but it took up way too many space, so as a result I had to get this physically. So what's interesting about this is that I really love the artwork that has been had in the inside of a box. Like, usually contains obviously Richter Bilmard, along with the forms of Maria Menard, which is actually pretty cool artwork right there. Which, I gotta say, I'm very glad to have this version. I haven't exactly saw, unfortunately, the disc of the UMD this tray thing doesn't seem to come off as like really safely, but even though that's what used copies these days managed to able to do all that stuff though. As far as going back into this game, I haven't really played it that much though, but hopefully I might as well will be. So even though it's just I need to get some bit of practice with the Castlevania's stiff movements or anything like that. But at least this well, specifically Rondo of Blood game, it does manage to able to have fluid controls and all that jazz, so at least we have that. So yeah, that's all I can honestly try to say about this remake, and you should definitely recommend it though. Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep, the original Birth by Sleep indeed, and as you can see it's all shiny and everything. I really enjoyed this game actually, even though the only point I'm actually onto right now is the final episode, and let me tell you, it is ball-bustingly difficult. Especially it's unfair that most bosses attempt to heal itself, which is unfair for the most part. But apart from those side of things though, I actually really enjoyed this, much like the PS3 and PS4 versions, so at least you can able to play this on the go. Well, if I were you, this version does have a very annoying long drawn out loading times on this version, which thankfully is being fixed on the later ports. So yeah, that's something worth noting for. And yeah, I actually enjoy Ventus' story, and I enjoy Aqua's scenario, and I had an okay time with Terra's story, despite his movesets wasn't nearly as like reflexibility fast as Aqua's and Ventus's especially. So even then though, yeah, I enjoy this, and pretty good. Even though I don't usually play this version as much though, compared to the console versions, mind you, but either way though, that's how it goes. Mega Man Maverick Hunter X, which, as far as this title suggests, is a remake of the original Mega Man X, ever since in the Super Nintendo. So yeah, I haven't gone back into this yet though. I mean, sure, I need to able to get a lot of practice on this game though, mainly due to utilizing with the dash and all that stuff. But from what I've heard about this remake, it's actually pretty swell. And of course, it also includes the animated movie and stuff like that, as well as the demo of Mega Man Powered Up. So even then, though, I'm actually really enjoyed this. And even though I will get into that eventually, so even then, I'm looking forward to playing that. Speaking of Mega Man Powered Up, a remake of the original Mega Man back in the NES. Obviously, the noticeable newest things they actually add is, of course, two new robot masters called Oil Man and Time Man, as you notice on the front cover. And also, you can able to create your own levels, which kind of reminds me of the forms of a prequel to Super Mario Maker, except the fact that this is on the PSP to begin with. And also, it does have a downloadable things and stuff, downloadable content and stuff like that. So, I haven't played it that much either. It's most notably because I'm actually on Time Man stage on hard mode, and I just got my butt kicked straight off the bat. Although I did manage to complete the intro stage, so at least I got some progress here, but hopefully, much like in Mega Man Maverick Hunter X, I'll definitely get back into this at some point, so once I'm not busy and stuff like that. Sonic Rivals, it's alright. I mean, it's not my favorite Sonic game in the world. I mean, usually relatively speaking, it's alright. And this has also been part of the 15th anniversary of Sonic the Hedgehog as well, along with Sonic Riders, Sonic the Hedgehog 2006, and also the atrocious Sonic the Hedgehog Genesis for the Game Boy Advance. But this game is alright. I mean, not the best, but usually the zones themselves are alright. I mean, passable. And the music is alright. I mean, I don't honestly remember any of the tracks at all in this game. And what's really irritating me about this game is that there's a lot of emphasis on rubber banding AI. Seriously, if you thought that Mario Kart 64 does have a lot of emphasis on rubber banding, be prepared yourself it's PlayStation or Sega's cousin to it, or something like that, because they'll eventually catch you up. So even then, just be prepared for cautiousness sake. And you guys should probably already know about this game because we done this Let's Play back in 2014, even though despite the commentary and the sound mixing is bad, but either way though, you should definitely give that a shot. Sonic Rivals 2. Now, personally speaking, I actually enjoy Sonic Rivals 2 a bit more than the original Sonic Rivals, probably because it does have full-fledged voice acting in this game this time around, as well as some additional characters like Tails, Rouge, and SBO, and technically Metal Sonic does make a return as playable, whilst in the first game, you do need to unlock him somehow. So, I digress. I actually really enjoyed the actual, the aesthetics in the game, even though it's pretty much exactly the same as the first one, except with some new features, like new battle modes and all that stuff, as well as, of course, new playable characters. And I really do enjoy the actual zones in this game this time around, as opposed to in the first one, that it's alright for the zones wise. And I'm very glad that the AI rubber banding is actually a lot better this time around, and it's also kind of challenging as well. So even then though, you should definitely recommend Sonic Rivals 2, if you're curious or not. And finally, and perhaps even most more obscure way to able to end this off with, Super Monkey Ball Adventure on the PSP. What else to say about this game? This is honestly one of the weakest versions of Super Monkey Ball Adventures out there. This is pretty obvious because frame rates wise, my lord, this frame rate, it just chugs the whole way through. And also, not to mention though, is that while it does have some cool exclusive levels as far as I'm aware, but I haven't really got far into it though, purely it's because I'm dealing with the expert difficulty still. And I just still got myself butt kicked due to the annoying control stick I have to deal with. And also this version does have a very annoying load times as well, just like in any other versions of this game. But yeah, definitely not recommended. So even then though, the reason why I got it is because of, well, we'll discuss that until in June. So, as you can see, these are my PSP game collection video I've got. Even though it's not much in comparison to PlayStation 3 or 4, and the PlayStation 2 and PlayStation 1 even. But a quick thing to know, there won't be any honorable mentions in the digital distributions in this though, because I haven't got that much distributions on it, aside from PS1 stuff, so, excuse me. So, yeah, that's pretty much what I can say in terms of, well, my PSP game collection video. And I suppose that, we should probably just finish the video from this point here. So, I know the commentary itself feels a bit slightly iffy today, but apart from those aside things, though, it knows what it is. So, yeah, I suppose that's pretty much about it. So this is me, Maxi, here from the likes of the Maxi Toys. Now, I suppose next up, in terms of our video game collection video, or my video game collection videos, I should say, up next, we're going to be on to the last entry before we move on to the 2 special anniversary ones coming up this year. And that will have to be Buddy Forms of the last, well, let's just save that for another day. But next up, in terms of my video game collection video, as I said, up next, it will be the obscure PlayStation Vita. So, yeah, that's going to be interesting. So, see you guys soon enough.